You're watching the Music Corner, Riffs to 808s. This is Sebastian.
I'm Nate, good to see you guys.
I'm Trent.
And today we have a lot to talk about, from the virus impacting the music industry to some new albums that we've been listening to. So right off the bat, we're going to start off with the virus taking an impact on the music industry, boys. A lot of things, a lot of shows have been canceled.
Yeah,
a lot of tours.
From a personal perspective, Flesh Got Apocalypse, they were coming to town and I wanted to go see them, but since they're from Italy, they're not allowed in the U.S.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
They're stuck over there and they can't even tour or anything.
It sucks.
Like, I know even there was a lot of bands that Rings of Saturn, they were out there in Europe. They had to, like, book it to, like, the airport because, like, the day, like, you know, Trump announced, like, oh, the ban, like, all travel and all, it was immediately, like, they were just like, yeah, we have to get out, we have to get out of here. We have to go right to the airport and everything. Tour's canceled, we'll have it back up, we'll reschedule dates and everything, but it's just so crazy how fast, within a week, this is all within a week that this happened and everything. All this week, bands have been canceling tours. And so mainly for me that I've seen, it's been like rock and metal bands.
Yeah.
I think that one of the first ones was like Pearl Jam that canceled it, and then like it just went down.
Yeah.
The entire list just went down with that. I know, like Dance Gavin Dance.
Coachella.
Yeah, that's right.
Coachella being canceled.
Yeah, it got canceled. That sucks. For wherever it was going, I can't afford to go to Coachella. But you know, yeah, that was.
Even a lot of local shows. Like I was gonna go down and see a rapper over a couple cities away where we live, and until yesterday, we didn't really have any coverage on like if this concert was gonna be canceled. Because there's about 300 people who bought tickets.
Right.
You know, not a small amount, but not like too crazy of an amount. But last second, the rapper came out, Milo, his name is, came out and said, hey, you know, canceled officially today, and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, oh, thank you for that last minute cancellation.
I know. I hate when they cancel last minute too, but it's like, wait, you have such little time,
right?
Especially right
now.
now.
Event sevenfold out here.
Yeah. And also because of this whole, you know, big pandemic, this is why we're here. Our usual place, we cannot record it.
We can't, yeah. But it's good for us because now we can be able to switch to video format, and you get both sides here. You get the audio and you get the video, so
it's good stuff.
Hi.
All right, moving into
the albums.
We're
going to start off with the worst one that we all heard, or at least somewhat heard, in your defense there, Trent.
Yes.
That is the new Megan Thee Stallion album. What's it called? Suga?
Suga. S-U-G-A.
Yeah.
Sebastian, start us off.
Okay.
Start us off here.
With Megan Thee Stallion, I'm just going to say right now, the first part about her music that is very distasteful for me is that oral does not work in rap songs. And the reason being is it's just a very disgusting way to insert like something sexual into a song. And I'm not saying it's never a good thing to use, but if you use it carefully, it can definitely make a song more impactful in just like a mental sense. But with Megan Thee Stallion, it tends to go a little bit in the disgusting and / like keep it to yourself kind of side. I know a lot of rappers nowadays tend to throw that kind of stuff out there about, you know, using like how big their dick is or, you know, all that kind of stuff. And, you know, obviously like, okay, cool, it's about clout and all that. I get it, you're trying to brag and make yourself seem bigger, but...
And it's like, it's not like it's, I mean, obviously it's like, you know, provocative and everything, but at the same time...
It's supposed to be.
Right, but like it works. It works.
I will give her one thing, the album art, I actually liked.
Little Rolling Stone shout out.
Yeah, I was gonna say Rocky Horror. That's where everybody.
Even that too. Yeah, exactly.
No, but I mean, it's plain, it's simple with a black background with the lips. Yeah, it's not. That's the only thing I liked about it.
It has like a nice. Like, I'm looking at it right now. It does have like it's all right to look at, but but then like you know why there's that there because throughout the album you hear her go like throughout like all her songs. It was like 4 songs I heard that. I'm like,
it's definitely. That onomatopoeia is definitely a trend I am not a big fan of in the music industry.
No.
I don't know. It's just very
distasteful.
Distasteful. I mean, I hate to use that word again, but it's the best way to sum it up. It's just unapologetic to the ears, especially headphone users. I don't know, like it just sounds more like nails on a chalkboard, or it doesn't get the point across that you're just like, you know, funny or anything. I'm
making faces at my radio, just like, what is this? What am I listening to?
It's this generation's version of saying like yeah boy like in like a random part of a song and all that kind of stuff. Like I'm not saying those kind of interjections are bad in songs. A lot of songs can do it to hype song up. Have like a hype crew behind you and they're cheering or something like that. That I guess that can work. And get you more pumped up for the song. But when you just throw something like that in every single one of your songs, it gets a little bit monotonous, don't you think?
And not to mention, it's a 9-song album. It's 24 minutes? Yeah, 24 minutes.
Barely missing the album mark.
Barely.
Yeah.
And it's like... So, like, obviously most of the album, it's all of that and all. And then, like, she does have, like, her slower parts and everything, like, the slower-ish songs. But even then, it's just, like, it's kind of boring.
She reminds me a lot of... I hate comparing artists all the time, but sometimes you just have to.
Mm-hmm.
I like to say she's Nicki Minaj, but with only the horrible sex flow.
Yeah.
And nothing actually redeeming about her. One thing I will say, her lyrical flow is pretty good. Like, her voice, even though it has little to no dynamics, every song sounds the same. That's another thing I wanted to add. Megan, her songs are very one shot. They all sound exactly the same. Maybe with one that has a little bit more of a trap beat and then another one that has a little bit more of a sample or like a small little like keyboard instrumental against it. Mm-hmm. But it's all the same. I don't hear any mood, nothing.
No diversity.
It's all her just bragging and basically just being overtly sexual without anything to back it up.
And it's like that is a part of the culture and the rap culture at times, even hip hop and all. But this isn't overdone.
I know. Yeah. I just like I say, I always look at music as a pure art form.
Right.
And
but when something like this comes in, it's like you have to like. It's not art at that point.
Yeah. Even comedy can be art. You can make a song funny and it can still be tasteful. Look
Tenacious
at Tenacious D.
Weird Al,
Weird Al, yeah, and all these other artists and whatnot. But when you just have something that you think it's funny, does not mean the whole world's gonna find it funny.
Exactly.
It's an inside joke of an album.
Yeah, it really is. It's just for a very select group of people, a very niche audience.
Yeah,
I would say is probably going to be a big fan of this album.
Right.
And
I'm personally just going to say this is the worst album I've heard all year. This beat, like before this, it was Kesha for me personally.
Okay.
Kesha's album was my least favorite of the year. It was like a 2 out of 10 for me. But this album, I'm like 1. It's a 1 out of 10. Like I can't do it.
Immediately, barely even getting through the first 2 songs, I'm like, I gotta turn this off.
Exactly.
I'm open.
Yeah.
But that, I was like, it's like.
It's annoying. It's so annoying.
I sat through all the album, and I would say it's not the worst I've heard. I heard Halsey's new album, so going through that, I know I have a lot of people who love Halsey that don't like me, but at the same time, I don't think this is the absolute worst I've heard all year.
But it's up there.
But it's up there. It's pretty
Top
close.
5 worst at least.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably going to rank the same as Halsey, but I'm probably just going to hold Halsey a little bit worse.
Right.
Why?
Exactly.
A better album. Lil Uzi.
Oh yeah, a little bit better.
Okay.
Yeah, next one.
Okay.
Lil Uzi Vert. Yeah.
If you polish a turd, you can only get it so shiny before it's, you're just saying, yeah, this is still a turd.
Right. What is that? Eternal Atake, Lil Uzi Vert. He also just came out today with the Deluxe edition,
yes.
which was Love versus the World 2, which was, it's still Eternal Atake, but the first, I think it was 12 songs are all new songs, which I have never heard of a deluxe version there was 12 new songs for it.
It's basically adding another album on top of it.
It's a B-sides album.
It's what? It's, what do you say, an hour and 50
An hour and 45 minutes for that,
minutes.
for just the deluxe.
I've heard classical albums that are shorter than this.
Honestly, and alright, so the whole album is actually just an hour and 2 minutes. Makes no difference. But I don't know, dude. This album was overhyped. Everyone I heard, when it first came out...
Because everyone's like, oh, we've been waiting 3 years for this. It's going to be amazing.
Let me talk about that for a second here. 3 years. 2 or 3 years it took for this album to come out. Bands take that long. Regular bands take that long just to come out with, an EP even at times. But, it's the longest us, metalheads and, rock
10
lovers...
years.
Tool. We waited over 10 years for a Tool album, and that was an appropriate time to be like, yes, finally. Although, I mean, I think we can all agree, like it was okay. It was an okay album. Or did you really like it? Did you? Sebastian.
I'm not going to talk about it. We're talking about Lil Uzi. I'm not even
All
going
right, that's fair. That's fair. Another day. But anyway, this new Eternal Atake album. So like the songs in general, they were okay. There was nothing special about like any of the beats, any of the flows, and all.
No.
The only thing that like stood out was that whole alien themed stuff where he was abducted.
That was good.
That was interesting.
When you have a theme for the entire album and you're great, and it's like okay, that I can get behind. But the songs themselves. Like the first half of that album, I was like, "What? I don't understand it."
Right. Yeah.
And then like the second half, I was like, "Okay, this is good. It's alright."
Go ahead.
I was gonna say with one song I wrote in particular, for me, Baby Pluto was unbearable to listen to.
I didn't mind it actually. It's okay.
It's his voice. I have a problem. There's certain voice types that really grind on me.
Yeah.
And Megan didn't really grind on me. Halsey would grind on me, but.
Yeah.
Freaking Lil Uzi Vert, his voice, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the timbre, I don't know if it's the nasal.
Maybe the auto-tune?
I mean, the auto-tune, it can work more, I guess. I don't know. It saves
There's
his
a
voice
way to do
little
it
bit.
right.
Yeah.
And he doesn't
Look at T-Pain.
Yeah. But yeah, Uzi doesn't hit it. And it's just, I don't know,
if the auto-tune ain't making you better, then...
That's when you know. Yeah.
He still has a career though, which...
Exactly.
I mean...
The only song I can really talk nicely about is P2, the last track other than the bonus tracks. I didn't even bother listening to the bonus tracks. I don't care. When a band or a rapper or whatever, an artist has bonus tracks, it's just like, maybe I'll listen to it. I don't really care.
Yeah.
That's not the whole album. But like, P2 was the actual last track before bonus tracks. I liked P2. I thought it ended nicely. That's like one of the best things I can really say about it though. It's like, yeah, that I added this song to my big playlist and everything, but after that, there's nothing really else I can talk about.
And maybe the deluxe version will be better with those new songs.
My buddy said that this is the second worst album he's heard all year.
Wow.
Just the deluxe,
Wow.
the deluxe version because of the
I
first 12 songs.
had a little bit of hope, and I'm gonna take it. I'll go home and listen to it,
Yeah.
and then I'll decide then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But even then, it was at best it was okay.
It was okay. Yeah.
One thing I will say, though, is the lyricism on this album is especially bad.
Yeah.
I wrote down a certain part in the song, and I don't remember the exact lyric because I was looking at this pretty late last night, but it said something about not being as rich, so you're fucking... this is not even the context. This would make sense, not being rich, but fucking in a Honda Accord. He just says, I haven't seen you in a while, but we gonna fuck in a Honda Accord.
I don't
understand it.
I understand that.
What does it mean?
It's like so.
Please explain this.
It's kind of like a booty call.
But why a Honda Accord?
Why not? That I don't understand.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. It just doesn't make sense.
No, the basic of it, yeah, it's easy to understand. But Honda Accord, there's probably a Lil Uzi thing with the Honda Accord that I don't understand because actually, one thing about Uzi fans, they will say, "Oh, I've listened to Uzi from the beginning." All Uzi fans that I know say that.
Yeah.
Oh, I've been with Uzi since the beginning, and they're like, "Oh, the old stuff is better."
And he's still shit.
And I'm like, I don't understand how you can listen to this.
It's right. I don't care for it.
I hate to nag.
I hate to dog on somebody like that, but I mean, you can't.
Right. So let's move away from some of the bad, okay rap. Let's go to some of the better ones. uicideBoy. They came out with an album this year. And hold on a second here. Let me get the title of it. I was actually listening to it on the way here again because I loved it.
I sadly had no time to listen to it, so that is all you guys.
Stop staring at the shadows was this one. Go ahead. What did you think of it?
Honestly, I've never listened to a uicideBoy album all the way through.
Me neither.
And I listen to songs by them, of course. I have friends that do tend to play them whenever we're on car rides or just hanging out, and I do like their sound. I do enjoy how they use that kind of emo rap, that scream rap that we've been hearing a lot more of nowadays.
Yeah.
And how they put that into their sound and, kind of do their own thing with it. Because I notice how they have, a screamer, and then they also have a nasally rapper that you hear, the kind of okay, it's that kind of rap type voice that sometimes I can't stand. Like when it's done well, it's done pretty well, like
Right.
Danny Brown or something like that.
They somewhat abandoned the whole screaming though on this new album. This album,
Yeah, they only had one song with screaming.
which I'll say this now. Even that song was at Mega Zeph.
Yeah.
That was actually my least favorite song.
Really?
And here's why. Because of that screaming part.
It just didn't. It came out of nowhere.
It didn't really work out with me.
It came out of nowhere.
I was like, oh, we're gonna end, and then it just ended. Like they
Yeah.
screamed their lines, and it's like, okay, it's over. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay. I thought there would be like at least like a little bit more with this, but no, dude. This whole album, other than that, really was just fantastic to me. I only wish it was a little bit longer because it's 24
Yeah.
minutes.
That's okay. I will add to that.
It's only 24 minutes.
Yeah, 11 songs, 24 minutes.
Wow, that's actually.
And believe it or not, this is actually, from what I learned, it was like their second official studio album. All the albums you've heard before that, really, except for like maybe one exception, were all mixtapes.
Yeah.
They're considered mixtapes. But I don't see the difference. If it's full length to me, it's almost
It's an
studio.
album's an album.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. Album's album, EP's an album.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it was just shorter than I expected too. It just kind of, when it ended, I was like, oh, really?
Yeah. the album itself, like to me, it was very smooth.
Very smooth.
The
Very
transitions
groovy.
were very, very nice. One thing I've never, I always have to listen to my music on Spotify. I no product placement here. I always use that. And for some reason, mine is weird. I can't go through each song. I have to rearrange the shuffle every single time. Because I don't hit shuffle on a new album. I just hit the first song and see if it would go, in order. But it never does. I always have to rearrange it myself.
There's a button on there.
Is there a button?
Yeah, on the bottom left corner.
Oh.
If it's
Little
green,
did I know,
if
I'm
it's,
just a
if
boomer.
it's green, it's shuffling the entire album or all your
Yeah.
songs. If it's not, it just plays it straight through.
Well, I'm also
Look-
colorblind too.
That's right.
I forgot.
Whoops.
Yeah, so the button on the top left, or bottom left, that is shuffle. Hit that.
Okay. Just make sure you hit the top
Sorry.
left button. No, it's
Hit the
okay.
green button, dude.
Maybe
it's
I'm
right
just-
there.
Yeah, I'm
I don't
just-
need for this long, but I always forget.
I mean, I also worked at a company that was primarily red.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's yikes.
I always make horrible choices when it comes to working.
Yeah.
you know. But anyway, yeah, this album, I think it was like one of the better rap albums I've heard all year and everything. Like we still have the Weekend next week coming up.
But that's not really rap.
Probably rap. It's more all.
Oh yeah, sure. Well, I mean, that's kind of the realm.
I just-
Hip hop,
It's
whatever.
more R&B.
I'm taking. I just want to look at the songs really quick.
Oh, okay,
That's
okay.
it. Because I didn't like. I
Like,
didn't
yeah,
tend to
I
look at
you
it.
didn't listen to it.
Yeah.
It's good. Like I mean, some of the songs. I mean, it's all that. Of course, like dark. You know,
Whispers
edgy,
Actually, I really like that
indistinctly.
one.
Was
that
that
was
good?
good. That was good.
I really
the whole
enjoyed that
album
song.
is really good.
Yeah.
That was good.
Just the Mega Zeph part where it just like kind of comes out of nowhere. I was like,
One thing I also did enjoy about this song too, and I love how rappers are doing this a lot more nowadays in rap groups. How they're tending to use a lot more instrumentation besides your typical canned, trap beats. Your typical hi-hats, snares are too tightly adjusted, and playing that along with over-drowning bass that just takes away from the vocals a lot.
Yeah.
This album in particular, I've liked all the different instrumental choices that they used. One of which being an organ.
Really?
They used
Wow.
an organ to basically give a more gothic kind of sound.
darker
That's
mood.
definitely-
Yeah, more
It's-
atmospheric.
It sets the mood. That's
Yeah.
why I love
Yeah.
it. It sets the mood of the entire album, and it
Yeah.
works. It doesn't feel stale. It doesn't feel like it's overdone. It's perfect. I
So
love
is
it.
it like? Is the typo of rap?
Yes, I would
Okay.
say because they're more
Oh, yeah.
gothic than actually emo.
Gotcha.
Because emo, I guess you can argue, is XXX or Juice WRLD
Lil
or Lil Peep. All these rappers and whatnot that are very edgy and look more like a pop or a Hot Topic ad than an actual rapper. It's all that kind of style, but Suicide Boys, they tend to go for more, like you said, the type of negative, the more gothic
Yeah.
approach to it, where it's more like Edgar Allan Poe versus Gerard Way.
Right.
Gotcha.
That's the best way that's the best way I can describe
And
it.
I personally love that style. I think
I
that
do
style is so cool. I'm
I mean,
glad that
look at Ghost.
Right.
Yeah,
it just works, and I'm glad that rappers are able to do that. Add something different to it without the same, overdone
the
trends.
trap beats, yeah.
Yeah, it's overdone. Like with the Lil Uzi Vert album, it's just overdone. I
and
don't
the
like
Megan
it,
Thee
but-
Stallion album.
Yeah.
I all of them, they all have the same trap beats, and that's the one thing I don't like about trap. You know, there will be some saving graces to trap. Like for me, I really enjoy Ski Mask Slump God.
Oh,
a
I
lot.
love Ski Mask.
I
I'm glad
just-
you introduced me to him.
I do really enjoy a lot of his beats and everything, even though they still use that really high, you know, very high snares. They
Exactly.
still incorporate a lot of unique sounds that you can get from a synthesizer type audio producing instrument. You know, like a keyboard or a synth or whatever you want to use.
Yeah.
You know,
Exactly.
an iMac, whatever the frick you use.
Yeah, I
you
mean,
know.
keyboards have how many different settings?
Right.
Pick one.
Yeah, pick one. Don't
Right.
just use the same 2 beats and say, yes, I have made a rap album. Like, if you're gonna experiment, actually experiment. And
It's laziness. I feel like it's laziness.
yeah, and judging from what you guys said, Suicide Boys did it great.
yeah, they
From
did a
just
great
switching
job.
up the
Do it.
tone.
The
I'm
mix,
telling you,
the
you'll
mix
love
was
it.
very well put together. That was the other thing. It's just everything was very cohesive and it blended very well. I enjoyed every second of it. Not to mention the performances on this album were very well put together. And honestly, I'm really excited to hear more from them. I'm honestly, I can say I'm a fan now,
Yeah.
just because
yeah.
I
I'm glad I
it takes a
discovered
lot for you to be a fan.
yeah.
It really does.
Because whenever I get obsessed with a band, you know, the last time I got obsessed with a rap group was Run the Jewels.
Yeah.
I didn't even like Odd Future that much.
I think Run the Juice is like the best duo rap
Yeah.
artist,
Oh, yeah.
artist that you've shown me at least.
Right, and I love all these rap groups that are coming out now and actually making something great instead of just, you know, deriving the same trap beats and going with the same flow that everyone else uses. And they're trying to make their own style. And that's why I said when I go back with the argument of music should be art, you know, an art piece is subjective and you gotta make it your own. So that's why you know, rap for me is always kind of a give or take kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's either you're gonna get something amazing, because rap, even though it technically doesn't require singing and, you know, what people say talent, you know, I say that loosely because, like I said, rap does take talent and not
Yeah.
everyone.
Good rap. It
The
takes talent.
speed,
Good
the
rap.
articulation.
Yeah, because you have to make your words a lot more percussive and you have
Yeah.
to place it on a beat.
Mhm.
You know, you have to be very
You gotta have
dental
iron
with
lungs.
things. Yeah.
Eminem.
And
That's
you got to. You have to.
For sure.
You just have to. You know, really work on just your flow of talking. With me, I could never rap. I have a really bad stutter. I can sing fine, but when you hear me just rap, it's hard for me because I don't have a good flow since my stuttering and whatnot.
Yeah.
But that's why I always respect rappers that can just spit a really nice flow.
Yeah, like some
keep
of
it well put
like
together.
the rappers that are straight just I can't remember what they call them, like the free verse.
The freestyle.
Yeah, freestyle.
Yeah.
Like the
Freestyle rap.
the people who are just strictly freestyle. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And good for
It's so
them.
amazing. Yeah.
For real. But, alright, I think we're going to wrap this first half up. When we come back here, we are going to talk about 2 metal albums that I think are probably some of the best ones this
Oh,
year.
this year,
for
definitely.
sure. Body Count and Code Orange. We will be right back with that after a word from our sponsor. Welcome back, everybody. So to start things off right now, we totally forgot to mention that Trent is now an official full-time member of the Music Corner.
Yes.
So Trent, now tell us a little bit more about yourself so the audience can get to know you.
I'm a bass player. That's about it. You can clap if you want. I play a 5-string ESP B series with Ernie Ball strings. It's great. I
Should show scallium strings.
I hate you. I work at Chick-fil-A on the food truck.
Die.
1 in 5 in the country, or no, sorry, 1 in 6 now. I work at one of the top 10 Chick-fil-A's in the country. So there's that. I love concerts. I love music, obviously. Gaming is a big thing. Some of my favorite games: Rainbow Six, Rocket League, any of those. So, and Modern Warfare now. What is it? Not Ground War.
Don't ask me.
Warzone.
I haven't touched a video
Warzone
game
just
in
came
years.
out yesterday. So
That's right.
That's a
What
good
is it?
one.
What is that called?
Warzone. It's the battle royale from Modern Warfare.
Oh, okay, that's what it's called. Okay,
Yeah.
that's crazy. That
Yeah.
whole idea is just blown up.
Oh
that
yeah,
world.
it has.
But anyway, all right, let's get back to the topic here. We're going into the metal albums that came out both today and just this whole month in general.
Yep.
We're starting off with Code Orange's new album, Underneath.
What an album!
It was pretty good.
What an
It was
album.
pretty good. Trent, start us off.
I will. So, for a little context here, I listened to it at 2:30 in the morning. Don't do that.
Especially with the first song.
The first song.
Oh boy.
Don't. Oh my gosh. It is. I mean, I wasn't really the biggest Code Orange fan. This album, actually, I'm gonna go back and listen to probably the other, singles and EPs they put out because like
Right.
it was actually
Their old stuff's also, I feel like.
Yeah, their old stuff. Because you showed me some of their old stuff.
Yeah. I was like the initiator for a lot of my friends liking Code Orange.
Yeah.
I found them just like randomly online in like
Yeah.
2016. I'm like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
He's got
Yeah,
some
I
great-
remember I tried, I thought I was going to be all cool showing you Code Orange.
No, you
but
called it something else. What did you
I
call
called
it?
him Agent Orange.
Agent Orange. I'm like,
Yeah,
I
and
know.
you
That's
said
a
you
punk
said-
band.
Yeah, and it's also one of the songs of one of my favorite bands, Sodom.
Yeah.
But no, this album, great. I mean, even the album art. I
love the album
instantly
art.
hooked.
If there's one thing I love so much about it, it's the album art.
Instantly
it's so
hooked.
cool.
I was like, whoa. And like, I think, what is it, second song? Swallowing the Rabbit Hole?
The first actual
Yeah, the first
song.
actual song, not the intro. But like on Spotify, you know how like the little videos they play?
Yeah.
Like I'm sitting there, I'm like, what is this?
I'm actually
But
looking
it
at
was
that right
like,
now. I haven't seen it.
I was like, this is amazing. It's great.
Dude.
But yeah, Swallowing the Rabbit Hole, I mean, after that intro,
That is pretty cool.
immediately hooked. I was like, I gotta listen to the rest of the album now.
It's
It's, honestly, in a long time, this is probably one of those albums, like, I haven't, even, like, I'm a big fan of Dream Theater. Their new album that came out, I was like, I don't want to listen to this all the way through. It wasn't that the best Dream Theater album, but this, I was right in hooked.
right.
Right from the start.
So for me, keep in mind here, it takes me a minute to get into an album fully, especially when
Me
I had
too.
just listened to it firsthand. But there are those, like for you can get hooked immediately.
I hooked immediately.
And that's awesome and everything. For me, the first time around listening, and I probably need to listen to it again, I thought it was just okay. And this is because, obviously, this is a new direction for them. They are like expanding more onto the industrial metal side,
Yeah.
kind of abandoning a little bit of the hardcore, but keeping like some of the instrumentals there.
Hey.
So like that caught me off a little off guard.
Yeah.
But I should have expected it, considering the singles were all like industrial
Yeah,
and
and I
everything.
didn't listen to them.
Oh, really?
No, I just...
I only listened to two.
It was first time seeing the album. I was like, all right, and it reminded me a little bit of a Meshuggah
Yeah.
kind of tone.
Exactly. Or like I know like Underneath kind of like gave like some 9 Inch Nails vibes to some fans.
Yeah, as well. Yeah.
But for me, Swallowing the Rabbit Hole, love that song completely.
It was great.
And then just in the middle for me, it was just fluff at first, Because it's like I said, I probably need to listen to it again, maybe just get really, really into it. Now that I know that it's like, this is the style of the album, let's go into it.
Yeah.
And of course I love Underneath, the last song,
the title track. Oh,
it's awesome.
it's so good.
It's-
Yeah.
Oh, I was going to say, I will add something.
I will add something.
I was not that big of a fan of this album. I mean, I listened to about 3 times from the span of yesterday to
really?
today. And
to
here's the
get
thing,
the-
I liked Code Orange's older stuff a lot more. I like
I
their more
will vouch for
aggressive
that.
punk kind of side.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like the cleans all too much, and not to mention the mix between the vocals and the instrumental on most of the songs is just horrendous. I really
I
don't.
kind of like that style though.
Wait, which
It's
style?
it's all
I don't know.
hectic, and that.
Oh,
I like
okay.
But here's the thing,
okay.
hectic can work. One of my favorite bands is Dance Gavin Dance now. And that's all just hectic.
That's a cluster.
It's a cluster, all right.
Yeah, but here's the thing, like, if they were to make it less 60-40 and more 50-50, just like any other normal act, and I know that's the industrial side, you have to make it a little bit more drowned out, but here's the thing, you can do industrial with that same kind of effect. Look at Rammstein, look at Nine Inch
True.
Nails.
True.
You can still hear the vocals prominently.
While
and
there's
they aren't-
chaos going on in the background.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
and-
then again, those are all clean vocals.
Yes.
So it's
Yeah, somewhat.
But even the clean parts for Code Orange
yeah,
as well.
yeah.
I'm arguing more towards the cleans.
The clean
'cause
parts,
The
gotcha.
screams didn't do much for me either on this album, surprisingly.
Really? That's
Um,
surprising.
He stays consistent with his screams, though. I forgot what
no.
Yeah.
His screams are great. Believe me, like I said, I wouldn't be a fan if I didn't like his screams at all.
that hardcore style.
But
Yeah.
the screams for me, I didn't like the effect that they used on this album, the distortion that they put on there. I just feel like it sounded very amateurish, and now it's just the vocal quality, not the actual singer himself. Just the quality of like the screams itself with the distortion made it sound like an amateur kind of production. And that was the thing that really drove me away from the screaming parts. Like for once I actually enjoyed the cleans more than the screams.
I was gonna say the cleans are like, I'm a little bit of the opposite with the cleans. Like I like, okay, so on their previous album Forever, there was a song on there. I don't know if you guys heard that whole album Forever.
No, I obviously haven't heard it.
But you have, right? That's the last one on the album. It's like that really eerie, like sounding thing. It's just like Reba just like singing and everything, and just like this really haunting way. And like, there's none of that on this new album.
No.
Nothing like too haunting other than the opening.
Yeah, that's about
We're just like,
yeah.
But this album overall, though, I will say it was really like I did enjoy it enough to come back to it more than once.
Yeah.
You know, if I didn't like it, I wouldn't come back to it so I can give myself a second listen, you know.
Right.
I did enjoy a lot of aspects of it. Sure, sometimes to me, some of the pinch harmonics sounded like a door hinge opening and just needed WD-40. That was like the biggest thing I noticed.
Some of them were really...
Because like... It was just like a very like kind of droning like pinch harmonic.
That whole album though is kind of like that's the
tone they're going. It wasn't more of a critique. It was more like a thing I noticed.
I like the glitchy sounding stuff too, for sure.
Yeah,
especially in Swallowing the Rabbit Hole, like the beginning guitarist and all. Like I like that. I like that a lot.
Another thing I've noticed about the clean vocals though, I feel like they're giving a slight homage to Alice in Chains, and I don't know if I was the only one who noticed this, but. It just it gave off very Lane Staley vibes with the very like kind of open, like a very spread nasal vocals, you know.
For sure.
And honestly, I really did like his
I think
they just need to work on it more.
That's probably what drew me into it.
Yeah.
To liking it.
It's like Nine Inch Nails mixed with Alice in Chains, but like I said, the bad things I did list off, they still kind of hinder this album from making it like amazing for me.
Yeah.
Because to me, if you mix Nine Inch Nails and Alice in Chains, well, like, oh god, that sounds like a 10 out of 10 right away to me, but there's just certain aspects of it that you need to do to make it, like, get off the ground running at a nice sprint instead of a casual jog like this one is.
Forever is still going to be my favorite album by them, but this one was definitely like a step in a new whole
Forever's
direction.
my favorite too.
Yeah, I love that one.
The length of this album too.
It's pretty long.
It's pretty long.
47 minutes.
Yeah.
It's with 14 songs, so like it's not like they're dragging it too much with like some songs being like, oh, this song's like 10 minutes. You're like, oh.
And the other thing I did like about at least the lyrics themselves, not the vocals, but the lyrics. One thing I realized is normally I'm not a big fan of simplistic lyrics, but some bands, going back to Dance Gavin Dance, simplistic but yet effective.
Mm-hmm.
They drive the point home without meandering too much around it.
Right.
You know, they get right to the point and you know what you're getting into, and that's another thing I did enjoy about the clean sections. Like, honestly, like, this sounds like the cleans, if you make them, less with the hardcore vocals, it's basically a Green Day album.
Yeah.
You know, with the cleans, it reminds me like an old school Green Day, like 10,000 slappy hours kind of vibe.
Yeah.
But like I said, I like the simplicity of it. And I really did want to hear more of the cleans. Mm-hmm. I did. I was, I feel like he just needs to practice it more.
You know it's a woman singing, right?
Oh, shit.
Yeah, it's actually a woman. Yeah, it's the guitarist.
No, the funniest thing is I never knew.
Yeah,
you wouldn't even know. I mean, that's like Ginger.
It's Ginger. But Ginger, you can definitely
the screaming vocals and everything.
The screaming of vocals in Ginger, you cannot tell. Like, and who was gonna be the one?
You did. Oh yeah.
Have like an effect is the camera zooming in. Oh, it's just
that's a aha moment.
I don't know if like the screamer actually has sung. I don't remember any songs that he did. I might just be like.
Oh, I forgot. Yes, the screamer is male.
Yeah, the screamer. Oh yeah, the screamer's male, and then the Reba, the guitarist, she
does the cleans.
Yes, she does cleans.
That's what I was getting confused. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I know she has kind of a manly.
Yeah, I didn't even know that.
I
don't know Code Orange that well.
Yeah, here's the thing, like, I've listened to their music just because I've just known them due to their mosh pits and how, like, infamous they are for that.
Killing and everything.
How crazy it can be at a concert.
That whole thing with, like, the guy with the cleats.
The spike, oh my god.
I remember you telling me about that. I was like, whoa.
Yeah, putting that woman in the hospital and everything, it's crazy. But
yeah.
Overall, yeah, I thought it was a good album. I will definitely give it another listen for sure.
Oh,
so
yeah,
I can try to get into it more.
Definitely, dude.
And, yeah, it was...
I'll add a couple songs, like Swallowing the Rabbit.
Oh, yeah.
That one,
Yeah.
I would
That
say...
and the title track.
That's, like, kind of, like, our favorite, like,
Mint.
amongst us, you know?
Yeah.
Exactly. But alright, let's move on to the last album. Trent's favorite album, I'm pretty sure.
The best album that has come out so far this year.
Body Counts Carnivore.
Yes. Now, first listen, I wasn't really okay with it. Like the first good song on this album is Bum Rush.
Yeah.
The title track, I was like, point the finger. I didn't like.
Honestly, listening to the Carnivore, the first title track and everything, like I thought it was gonna be brutal. Cause like
Yeah.
just the
yeah.
I was like, we're going to here now. But
Yeah, I mean,
go ahead.
Bum Rush, it was good. That was like the first time I was like, okay, I can listen to the rest of this album. It's good. And then
Right after that,
the cover of Ace of Spades, he shouts out Lemmy. That is what I'm talking about.
Can we talk about one thing, though? Ice-T's versatility.
Yeah.
That's one thing I'd like to commend for him.
Oh
Yeah.
His versatility when it comes to his vocal range. I'm not saying he's a phenomenal singer or a phenomenal rapper, but the fact that he can do both pretty sufficiently.
Yeah.
Right.
And everybody
pull it
knows
off.
the name Ice-T.
Oh,
But
right.
you're like, oh, he's in a metal band?
Right. Like,
Right.
oh really?
Yeah, I mean...
It was like Denzel Curry doing Bulls on Parade. Like,
Yeah.
something that you really don't
I love
expect.
that
But
it's so good.
So
Yeah.
good.
So
Love that
good.
cover.
Yeah, and going back to their last album,
I never listened to it. I hadn't listened
Bloodlust.
to it.
Bloodlust, yeah.
I mean, the amount of... They had, like, Dave Mustaine on there and a bunch of other
Wow.
people on there as well. But their cover of Rain of Blood.
Yeah.
I mean, and it talks about Ice-T, why he did metal. You know, from Black Sabbath to...
Institutionalized.
Yeah,
I
Institutionalized.
love Institutionalized.
Their cover
cover.
of Institutionalized.
That's
so
the
good.
best version of that
Suicidal.
song.
It is.
Great.
Yeah.
And then it goes off with Slayer. And then
Right.
him talking about Lemmy and Ace of Spades. So good.
Right. I think one of my favorite tracks though was When I'm Gone with Amy Lee featured on that.
That
Yeah.
wasn't too bad.
That was
and then
so
That was
good.
unexpected.
I was
That was the
like,
point.
another level with Jamie Jasta. I was not expecting Jamie Jasta.
I didn't
I
get
was
that
like,
far into the
wow.
album.
It wasn't
it's
bad.
good.
The number 2 favorite song though, The Critical Beatdown.
I
It was so good.
I can't remember that
The
one
Critical
fully.
Beatdown.
That one was. I think I remember that one being good, but I don't
It
remember
was
that one
good.
fully.
But number 1 of this album, 6 in the Morning.
Oh yeah, the metal,
6 in
the
the
actual like
morning.
metal version of that dude. That was sick.
That was so good. When I was looking at the album and I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Like it was good. And then I thought No Remorse was going to be a cover of Metallica. But it wasn't.
No, it wasn't.
Right.
That's how Ace of Spades and No Remorse. I was like, let's go.
Exactly.
But no, I definitely, this is probably the best album that's come out so far this year.
In your
I mean,
opinion?
in my opinion.
See, like, still for me, in terms of like best album of the year and all, like, I mean, obviously it's early. And
It's
all.
yeah, it's over
very
March.
early.
I don't even have. I wouldn't even say I have a favorite. I mean, I have a couple I really
Me
like
neither.
so far, but I don't really have like a concrete favorite.
Usually by
favorite
now
song.
I at least have one that's like, oh, this is a 9 out of 10 or even like a 10
Yeah.
out of 10 maybe, but that's like very slim chances. But like,
Yeah.
I don't know, I just haven't found much this year to be all that like, but like, I'm glad that you're like,
Oh yeah, this one. I mean, I re-listened to Bloodlust, and then right before this came out, and I was like, all right,
Get a feel for
like get a feel for it, get back into it, because I mean, Ice-T's style, like you were saying, his versatility, it's amazing, and
Yeah.
like one song off Bloodlust that is great, Black Hoodie, that song it shows it so well.
Mhm.
But no, there's nothing really wrong with this album. I
There's
have no,
not.
I have no complaints at all.
I couldn't
Which is
either.
surprising. I can always find one or two things. I'm like, this.
I need to go back and finish it. I feel
No,
really
you definitely have to finish
Yeah.
it. It
It's
is
good.
so good.
It's a good listen.
like.
for
There's
sure.
always that one album every week that I never get to because I just forget about until the last second, and that was
Yeah.
Body Count. Even though that was the one I was probably one of the most hyped ones I had this year as far as
yeah.
like.
And like, as soon as it came out, I texted you. I was like, you gotta listen to this album.
Yeah,
So good.
and I was excited. I'm like, holy shit, this is gonna be great. You know.
Yeah.
but-
I wasn't expecting it to I thought it was gonna be in April,
Yeah.
but then it was in March. I was like, wow.
Right. It was great.
Right,
It was great.
yeah.
But I think that's about gonna wrap it up then for today, right? We got through all
I
the
don't
albums.
think. Is there? No, yeah, that's it.
Yeah, we got
That's
through
it.
all the albums today. But yeah, so obviously with this whole coronavirus thing, we're not sure if like anything we're gonna be quarantined or not, having to be forced to. So like
Yeah, so this is it. This is what we got for now.
Right, and like we're gonna manage though. We're still gonna like do our best to like still get the podcast weekly and everything, no matter how long it takes and
Yeah.
all. We'll come back with even more albums, more things to talk about. And if there are no albums, because like gets pushed back or whatever, we got other stuff to talk about.
Yeah, we got something to talk
This is
about.
the music corner.
Yes.
Riffs to 808s.
We can
guys.
bring it back to the 70s, the 60s, the 80s, whatever. Our
favorites.
Our favorite
Oh, yeah.
albums, our record collections. We've got ideas in mind if shit hits the fan.
We got material. We're all
We
set
do.
here. All right, so we will come back. Sebastian, Trent, thank you guys
Yes.
once again.
I am
Oh, yeah.
I am happy to be
A part of the family.
A part of the family now.
A part of the
Not
unbranded
just a guest.
family. The
Not just a
music.
guest.
This has been the Music Corner. Riffs to 808s. Signing off.